Alright, so Mr. Hunt here, back with Angle Constructions Part 2. So numbers 4 and 5, we're going to do several things at once. 30-degree angle, 45 down below, 30, 60, 90, 45, 90. And then once we get this, we'll do a 15. Once we get the 45, 45, 90, we'll get a square. A lot at once, but if we do one construction, it basically gets all these other things together with it. So first, let's make a 30-degree angle. If we think about the shapes that we know and how we're going to be able to accomplish getting a 30, we actually had to think back to the previous one, number 3. We needed a 60-degree angle. Alright, so for that one we thought about, alright, what shapes have 60-degree angles that we know? And there was one key one, so this is what we did in number 3, and that's an equilateral triangle. It has 3 angles that are all 60. Alright, so that's where we're going to start in this one. So I'm going to make an equilateral triangle. So for that one, you make an equilateral triangle. Well, I'm just going to draw one side that represents any side of my equilateral triangle. Equilateral, all sides are the same. Okay. So I'm going to set my compass at the length of this segment. Now, technically, if you looked up a video online, you might see people only do the top part here for these arcs. I'm going to do the bottom part because to get 30, 60, 90, it'll help that we do the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do, and actually, I'm going to go ahead and do the full semicircle. Again, you might only see these top arcs and bottom arcs. So then I'm going to go over here to the other end point and repeat. Okay, so let me get that back here. There we go. So what we did is again, for the equilateral triangle part, I don't need the bottom. I only need the top, because what I did is I made this point equidistant from these 2 points. And so now to draw on my equilateral triangle, I would just connect all 3 of these. Okay, I really don't have to, because right there, though, is my 60 degrees. But I will. Okay, so that would be an equilateral triangle. Now, there's 2 ways to get a 30. Based on what we did previously, we bisected an angle. So I could just cut this 60 in half. Do an angle bisector starting at I'll call this point A. Make an arc from those 2 endpoints, do arcs in the middle, and draw it in. However, there's another way, since I'm going to move on and do 30, 60, 90. I made a perpendicular. This was the perpendicular bisector doing the full semicircles. So watch this. This was a perpendicular bisector if I connect these. So that makes that 90. And therefore, if that's 60 and that's 90, this is 30. So I made a 30-degree angle, I made 30, 60, 90 right triangle. And what else? Okay, and now we want a 15-degree angle. So I'm going to take the 30, and to get 15, I'm going to take the 30 and bisect it, because then we'll have 15. Alright, so I got to start with the 30. Let's see if I can try not to move this too much. So start with the 30, go to the vertex, and make any arc. A little hard for me to do, but I got these 2 points here. Okay, and from each of those, I will do an arc out in the middle. I mean, like down here. Okay, so I'll go from this one, and I'm going to shorten it just a little bit here. So I cannot do that now that I made this. So I did that little arc there. Now I go to the other one. So I go to this one. Sorry, let me focus that. I'm going to this one. Okay, same thing. It's a little hard for me. I did it upside down from what I'm used to, so it's a little, might not be perfectly accurate. So then I go to that point, go to where these connect, draw that in, and I bisected it, so now each of these angles is 15. Okay, let's move on to number 5. So 45-degree angle. You got to think, how can we get 45? What angles do we know? How can we get 45? And the answer is that we know 90. We can make that perpendicular bisector, and we can cut it in half, do an angle bisector, and we'll get 45. So if I haven't said it yet, perpendicular bisector, you do a lot. We actually did it in number 4. Right? You'll do it a lot moving forward. So get very used to this one. Make any line, go more than halfway. You technically only need to do the top part, but I like to do full semicircles. Some people might even want to do full circles. You then come over to the other end point. Do the same thing. Okay, and then draw it in, so now I have 90. Any one of those 4 angles would be 90. Alright, and then I'm going to cut that in half, okay, to get my 45, 45, 90. And actually, let me say this, there's 2 really ways to get all of these actually right now. So what I could do is do an angle bisector right here, right? Here's my 90. Cut that angle in half. I'm going to do something, because I need this, I'm going to do something a little different. It's a little trick here. I'm going to choose any point on this line. And what I'm going to do, so I'll just choose this one. I'll make a point. I'm actually going to make a sideways square, and it will end up getting 45, 45, 90. So watch how easy this is going to be. Choose a point, put your compass on the center, I guess, where your perpendicular bisector was formed, and put your compass, put the pencil out to that point you chose. And what you're going to do is just make a full circle. I'm going to pick this up. Okay, it's hard to do with this camera here, so I think I got it though. So I did a full circle. So then you might say, all right, where is the square? So you connect these 4 points, all right, with your straight edge. Okay, and so what happened is this is 90. These are both congruent in length. So these are both 45. So we've made a 45-degree angle. Check. We therefore made a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Check. And this ends up being a square. These are both 45. These are 45. These are 45. So our square is a sideways square. So you could have bisected the 90, got 45, but then to get these, especially the square, it's actually pretty simple. There's 2 steps: perpendicular bisector, and then circle. Make a point and draw a circle. Okay, that's it for angle constructions. Thanks for watching.